Very important. Let me just kind of give you a little bit of a background here. So usually you have allotted players that you can place, that you can vote for. If you win league, you're gonna get 5 kids on the first team, right? And if you get second, so we got third place in league, which gave us a few more places than last year, but at some point it comes down to a vote. There's 5 schools, and the kid needs 3 out of the 5 votes just to get that place. And sometimes the voting gets pretty vicious. There's really no arguing sometimes about the MVP, maybe the MVP goalie, but a lot of the times when you want to place that, I thought, you know what, this kid needs to be on the first team, and sometimes it could be an hour before we decide, and nobody wants to go home unless that one player is on that team. So this is not easy at all. But because you guys because we ended up in 3rd and not 4th or 5th, it was a little bit easier to play some of these players. And remember, this is league only. So a lot of the players say, man, I had a really good season, but this is only, we need to isolate league, not preseason or tournament games and things like that. So our first award here goes to Shane Donna's honorable mention. And then you guys grab your award and just stay on the side so we can have all of you guys with the backdrop, and then parents can take pictures as well. This year in league we had incredible players. It was just really tough. Our next player with honorable mention, David Colon. Come on up. Our next honorable mention, and there can only be 3 per school, Darius Marsh, come on up. Our next player, second team all league, Gio Diaz. Come on up, Gio. We'll get a cup of coffee, everybody, before Gio gets up here. Love the walk, love the walk. I know, just incredible. It's this kid is MVP in 2 years, no doubt about it. Our next second team all league, Jared Dew, coming up. And now moving up to our first team all selection, Angel Garcia, come on up. Good job, Angel. Another first team all selection, Rohan Dillon, come on up, Rohan. And our last first team all selection, Daniel Marshall. But wait, there's more. So before we go to our next award here, big round of applause. This is a difficult thing to get for you. All the coaches need to be in accordance. So thank you, boys. Appreciate it. And if you guys want to take a picture as like the old league selections, you guys can do that. And then you have on there, it tells you who was on first team, second team, MVP, goalkeeper. It's tough. Obviously, a lot easier when you win league. So for those of you guys coming up next year, think about it. Like, we win league, we doubled the number of kids up here, right? It's a little bit easier. And then here's the thing. So go to the next slide, but don't, just one more, Christian. So we go to CIF. And when you enter CIF, there's only 32 teams that make it out of 75 teams that were in D6. And, in the beginning, we didn't really know much about K. They had only played league. But now that you guys played, I think you guys can agree, and if the parents, if you guys were watching, K, they were not like, a horrible team by any means. And so it just doesn't matter what division you're in. A lot of the times, it's just you draw like a decent opponent. That was a hell of a game that we played. But in that game, again, the coaches, when all CIF is said and done, we all vote via Zoom because we can't meet with the 32 schools, and we vote. And it was almost unanimous. Of course, the other teams didn't know about this one player, but I knew about him, and the K coach knew about him. And the one kid that stood out for the other coach and myself in that game was first team All CIF, Jared Duke. Come on up, buddy. You look at some of these schools, this is a big deal. They only picked 22 players out of 32 schools, so 600 players eligible, and 22. Okay, that's pretty amazing. Good job, guys. Good job, guys. Christian, go ahead. So go ahead, just one more.